Is Odell Beckham the X factor there? Is he the guy a healthy Odell that can actually do that against a team that's going to bring a tough defense?
Jenna, I hate to disappoint you and Nick, but Odell's a great player. The X factor is that offensive line. I mean, they're going against a front seven in Philadelphia that, regardless if Odell is healthy, and this is something as wide receivers, it makes us upset and it makes us more selfish because we can't control the game. Now, Odell said in the game, in the interview, oh, I feel like at some point in the game I can take over. But if that unit up there in front, one of the worst in football, because Philly is coming. Jim Schwartz, the defensive coordinator, what does he do? Get after the quarterback. And he's got great personnel. They have a great scheme. Now, they have some injuries on the back end as far as the secondary, but I'm wondering, can they get the ball? Will Eli be upright enough? How many sacks will the Eagles have at 1 o'clock on Sunday? So, yes, he could be an X factor, but the bigger X factor are those 5 guys blocking for Eli, and will they have time to take advantage of the mismatch that Odell has going against that secondary?
All right, you can mark this one down. You guys can run it back on Monday if I'm wrong.
Okay, here we go.
Yes, the Giants will have the edge, and the Giants, despite being 6-point underdogs, will win this game, and we will get here Monday morning, and the Giants will be a game out of first place in their division. That's where this thing is going to go, and I see your point about the offensive line and the Eagles' defensive line. Here's the important factor there. These are the same offensive and defensive lines these teams had last year. And last year, in 2 games against Philly, Philly only sacked Eli combined twice. Eli had 600 combined yards passing in those 2 games. In one of the 2 games, Odell had 2 touchdowns. In the other of the 2 games, he had 150 yards receiving on 11 catches. How does that happen? Well, I would imagine it's because the Philly, while they have their fantastic front seven, you're right. The Eagles have the most sacks of any team in the NFC, and the Eagles' defensive line, if that were just a team, they would have the most sacks of any team in the NFC. The defensive line's been outstanding, but that secondary is not good. That secondary wasn't good before Ronald Darby went down. Now Ronald Darby's out. So what did we see on Monday night? We saw that Eric Flowers can't block Ziggy Ansah. They watched that all week in the film room. What are they going to do? They are going to do what they were hesitant to do on Monday night. They're going to help him out. They might have to help out the right tackle as well, depending on Bobby Hart's health. So what does that mean? It means Odell is going to have to go against double coverage the entire game. Thankfully, he is equipped to do that against this team's double coverage. They don't have a Glover Quinn patrolling the middle. They don't have anyone a Darius Slay that's going to match up well against him, and he's healthier. The Giants spent all week hearing what trash their offensive line was. They spent all week hearing about how the Eagles' front seven is going to dominate them. That is the one part of this game, or this matchup, that last year the Giants didn't let happen. Now, in one of these games, Eli threw 3 picks and was terrible, and they still lost it. They split with the Eagles last year. But it wasn't because Eli was under constant duress, and it wasn't because the Eagles had an answer for Odell Beckham.
Now, the best secondary member is Malcolm Jenkins. He's a safety, also plays nickelback.
I like Malcolm a lot.
He's an outstanding player. But somehow the Giants, they have to build, and Ben McAdoo, they have to develop a game plan where they can occupy him and try to get the best matchups with Odell. But it's about volume. You got to get Odell the ball at least 10 times. He's had success against the Eagles, but the biggest question, will they have time, and how much running will they be able to do against this Eagles? Because you just can't go in there and be one-dimensional.
Well, have we heard from Odell this week? I mean, when you say he's getting better and he's practicing, I mean, are you going to know watching this game if he's 80%, 70%, close to 90%?
Yes, I've communicated with him like I have, and he was honest this time. Sometimes he's not always 100% honest with the media, but he is getting better. And the pressure now for him is he feels better than he did last week. He didn't have a setback, but the Giants need him. And that, in his mind, is more paramount than his ankle not being 100%. So he'll be out there more snaps than he played 30-something snaps in the game on Monday. I look for him to play. Offenses average 60 snaps in the NFL. I look for him to play 45 to 50 of those.
Go ahead, Jenna.
No, I was just going to say, you laid out, and Stink would have had, I called him Stink. It's because I'm around you guys too long. Mark would have had a hard time with you because a lot of what you brought forth on why the Giants are going to do so well is because of what they did last year. He doesn't like looking backwards.
No. This is a matchup of the same two teams.
With the same personnel and all of it. I get it. But still, circumstances
He's disregarding
are different.
what happened on Monday. He's disregarding what happened in the Dallas game.
Well, the Dallas game I am disregarding. The Dallas game, if you are without the most important non-quarterback in football, the player your offense revolves around entirely, I am going to throw that out when he is now going to play. I am not fully disregarding what happened Monday. I think the Giants are going to learn what happened Monday, which is Eric Flowers cannot be left alone in one-on-one pass blocking situations. So what are they going to do? They're going to sacrifice the multitude of options at receiver. They're going to use one of those potential receiver as a tight end as a blocker, and they're going to trust Odell Beckham and potentially, if he still exists, Brandon Marshall, to go beat some people, to go win their matchups. And you mentioned the running game. Again, if I just can use the examples from last year, in the game the Giants lost to the Eagles last year, they had 115 yards rushing. In the game they won, they had 50 yards rushing. So the Giants' rushing attack, at least last season, wasn't the indicator about whether or not they won the game.
They're not Dallas. Their offense is not predicated on getting a bunch of yards, but they do need carries because they need balance.
There's a lot of issues the Giants have to deal with that I think just taking care of the Eric Flowers situation might not be the only thing that fixes all the problems.
Most points the Giants have scored since Ben McAdoo's been the head coach, and the last time they scored more than 20 points was Week 9 against the Philadelphia Eagles.
Okay,
scored
do
28.
you think Eric Flowers, when he takes the Turnpike South, is going to learn something that we didn't see on Monday? Because there's no plane for this trip. They're getting
he's just
on a
going to have
bus.
someone riding in the car with it.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from First Things First, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.